Hello, special topics in media studies class. And this is Dr. Castleberry here to talk about our graphic novel selection, or should we say selections, in this course experience. I know I've already previewed the direction, but I want to create just a special message to place emphasis once again on the text or texts that we've selected for this class, and just make sure we reinforce what we're asking of students and how it will benefit us. All right, so the traditional route or direction or path way that we've created for our students in the online version of Special Topics in Media Studies is to acquire Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, which is a graphic novel, which we can consider as a series of individual comic issues that are collected together to tell a story arc. The Dark Knight Returns is a story arc that was considered outside of comic book canon. All right, that is to say, it was outside of continuity. Have I lost everyone yet? In the comics world, when it was first released, this book was written and released in the middle of the 1980s, and it has a lot to say about that decade. It's actively reflecting on a lot about American culture at that time. However, we wouldn't have selected it if it not only didn't have staying power, but also continues to influence the comics medium, the superhero storytelling medium, the way that characters like Batman are perceived. And so this is a master text by what in the film world we'd consider an auteur, right? Someone with a very clear, distinct, and unique voice in Frank Miller. Of course, Frank Miller even illustrates or draws many of the character depictions, and then he has some beautiful inking work, illustrations from Klaus Janssen. And so The Dark Knight Returns is one of your choice options for the graphic novel aspect of the course. The other aspect of the other graphic novel that we are incorporating this time into the class comes to us about a decade after The Dark Knight Returns. This is Kingdom Come from Mark Waid and painter Alex Ross. And you will immediately notice, not just from the cover, but from many of the interiors, just an incredible, lush, expressionistic, painterly style that in which characters are depicted, and that has deep resonance. It's not just kind of filler to help tell a story. It will impact you. That artwork. It's some of the most iconic images put to page. And so Alex Ross, we could definitely say, is as equally important as Mark Waid on a storytelling front when it comes to Kingdom Come. Both of these books are considered Elseworld tales, or at least once upon a time they were. That is to say, they maybe existed outside of the mainstream continuity. However, in addition, each book was released in 4 parts. So 4 parts were separately distributed, but then eventually they were collected together to tell that singular story. All right, and so there are unique takeaways from each book. Kingdom Come, it tells a little bit different of a story. It definitely has a mythic arc to it, not unlike The Dark Knight Returns. It has a much wider and inclusive cast of characters, including the many of the DC Comics characters that you might consider in super teams like the Justice League, the Justice Society, and so on. But there are plenty of villains making pop-in appearances as well. It can feel a little continuity heavy. On the other hand, it has some interesting commentary on the nature of superheroes and superhero comics. I think it does this bit of reflection that you will pick up on and find interesting. And so each book really has, I think the most important thing is they each establish a different tone, but they do both question the nature of superheroes, and I think that's what helps elevate these works beyond functioning as mere superhero stories, and kind of puts them on a pedestal where they're offering a kind of cultural critique. Whether that critique is answered or not, we leave that up to you, the reader, you, the critic, and this is the exciting part of the course, where there will be opportunities for you to talk about, maybe think out loud through writing, or even develop your own positions on these given chapters. All right, and so we're trying to increasingly offer different types of books and comics for students to choose from, and these are our two selections for this course. If you're a reader, then by all means, we invite you to acquire both. They're relatively short reads once you get into the flow of things. Maybe it could be much slower at first, but I think you'll get the hang of it as you go. And if you're not, then this is just an opportunity to select one and kind of go with it. All right. And we want to do that. We want to have an exciting time as we're studying not only superheroes, but mythology and American mythology in particular. And all of this, a form of mass communication and communication studies about many cultural themes simultaneously. Look forward to your thoughts and insights and feedback from these readings in our COM of 4103 experience, Mythic Media in America, Special Topics in Media Studies.